views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. We have yet another fantastic show lined up for you today. Welcome to Open BX RX. We'll continue to hook you up like we owe you something. In fact, coming up on today's show, we'll speak to an entrepreneur about his plans to use success of his career to launch his latest business venture. After that, we'll check in with some hip-hop luminaries who will share some great news on collaborative projects they're involved in. Then we'll talk to a real estate advisor about how the pandemic has affected homeowners. And then Bobby C is here with the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll hear from a musician who's encouraging others to get vaccinated. Yep, all of that and more headed your way next, right here on Open. Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're watching Open. You know, it's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. So you know you can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Here he is, leading things off. Our first guest is a master percussionist, an entrepreneur, and he's had more than 3 decades of success in the music industry. And he's taken that experience to start a brand new business. It's called Soul Snacks. So please welcome to the show, Ralph Rolle. Rolle got the Soul Snacks. Go ahead, boy.
What's up, man? How you been, Bob? It's good to see you,
Good.
man.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah,
tell
things
us
are good.
how did you get that going? I mean, you're a musician. You played with just about everybody. Tell us some of the people that you played with, and then jump into how you.
I've played with. I've recorded with Notorious B.I.G., Nas, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, India Arie, Aretha Franklin. Toured with Freddie Jackson, Najee, Nile Rodgers, and Chic.
Yeah.
I've played live on television shows with many different folks. I've done work with Vanessa Williams and Bette Midler and Sting, Bono, Paul Simon. Just a wide range of different folks. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And I'm from Bronx River.
Bronx River, Bronx, taking it to Harlem. You played all over the place. So how did you delve into this new business called Soul Snacks?
Growing up, even though I'm a musician, I was a shy kid, and I didn't have the kind of swag that my friends had. That was just my opinion.
Yeah,
like they could just walk up to girls and talk, and and I was a nerd.
Did you learn later on?
I learned later on, but that took years. Yeah. But the beginning introduction was all about meeting a girl and kind of swaying her with cookies or something nice, and I know that's a nerd move, but it worked.
But it works, right?
It worked then, yeah.
So how did you get into it?
Oh, as far as the cookies is concerned, I was just baking as a kid, and I learned it from my grandmother, my mother, and I kept it up. So after my grandmother, my mother passed away, I just was baking, and my production company moved into my apartment. And I told the guys one day, my friend Gerard and my friend Armando, we were doing productions for different groups. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go bake some cookies. They was like, what are you talking about? What are you going to go bake cookies for?
Yeah.
So I said, let me just go whip these up real quick. So I went and baked some cookies. I brought them back in the studio, and it was like, hey, yo. So now make sure every time that we get together, you have these cookies, because these things are good. So then not too long after that, my girlfriend moved in. And when it came to the holidays, we wanted to give our gifts to our friends and family. And there was 36 people on the list, and we didn't have the money for that many people. So I said, why don't we just bake the cookies?
Yeah.
So she said, sounds like a good idea. So we baked the cookies, we sent it out to everybody, and everybody responded very kindly and was saying, these are really good. You might want to sell them.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was playing at an open mic at Sylvia's. And Melba, who owns Melba's restaurant, what was the proprietor of that night. So I called Melba and I said, Mel, I got this idea. I want to sell cookies. Can I bring them to, the open mic? And she said, of course. So I brought him in. The band was a young lady named Shelby J, who was a singer with Prince. I don't know if you know Shelby. Mike Phillips, who's now signed to Hidden Beach, also played with Prince. The guitar player was a guy named Mike Campbell, who used to play with Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
And so all of these local musicians were just doing open mics. Yeah. And I was at the Apollo on Wednesday nights. So we gave out a few pieces of cookies and everyone liked them, and they bought the few bags that we had. And I was so ill prepared. I had nothing to give people after as far as like a number. So it just turned into a crazy situation because there was a guy sitting at the bar from a magazine called YSB Magazine. It was used to be owned by BET. So he said, I would love to do an interview on you. And then we started talking, and he found out that I was the drummer for Showtime at the Apollo. And my girlfriend also grew up in the projects. She was she graduated from Juilliard. So we both had these humble beginnings, but we both, went on to do some great things. So he does the interview. I asked my sister for her pager number because I don't want to put my house number, in the magazine. Yeah. So my sister gives me her pager number. You remember back in the day, you had the pager with the PIN number?
Yeah.
So we that ended up in the magazine.
Some people don't know what you're talking about, though. But
back in the day, back in the 90s, people used to have pagers on their hip. Everybody that was halfway cool had a pager. So I wasn't halfway cool because I didn't have a pager. So I put my sister's number in the magazine. So we'll get a couple of calls. The magazine article came out. First day, she got like a few calls. Later on that afternoon, she got a few calls. The next day, she got like 10 calls. And then later, she got 30 calls. So now we're trying to fulfill all of these orders coming out of the apartment. So then I moved across the street to my friend's mother's brownstone. That was my first actual baking space. Yeah. In the Bronx. All of it was done in the Bronx. Yeah. It's kind of cool on Stratford Avenue.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's how it all got started.
Yeah. It went viral on a beeper, huh? The beeper was blown up. They blowing up my beeper.
Back in the day, somebody get a beat, hold up. Y'all gotta go find a payphone, man.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Thank you.
Were you there? You were the drummer when I was hosting the Apollo Theater, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the name had that thing that said Bob Lee? Bob. But we had a great time, though.
Do you remember what you used to say when somebody got booed off?
What did I say?
You would go, "Oh no, he didn't," and the audience would go, "Yes, he did."
Yes, he did. Yeah. They don't use that now. See, from then to Steve Harvey to you got a number of people, Capone, and now
Monique.
Yeah, Monique, and now
a lot of people don't realize Whoopi Goldberg was a host for a minute too.
She was, yeah, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say I was part of that crew, the world famous Apollo Theater. Yeah. So wait a minute now. So you're selling these cookies, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
So do you have them in stores now? Is it packaged and everything?
We do have them in stores. We just got picked up by Walmart and Kroger.
Woo! Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so Walmart gave us 789 stores, and we're just waiting to hear back from Kroger. We're actually the system as vendors for Kroger, but they haven't given us the stores yet.
Oh,
but
you're gonna need
a big leap.
Well, so how you make all of these now?
They're being baked at a facility in New Jersey.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a huge.
You have to come out of the Bronx kitchen and get into like a manufacturing place or baking.
Yeah, but part of my deal with my new partners was that I will always have a foothold as far as the company is concerned in the Bronx. I never want to just up and take my company. That's just not the person I am. So, but we are moving. We're moving to a bigger facility, and it's the facility we're moving in. It used to be the Spofford Detention Center.
Oh wow, yeah. I know.
And
that's over by the banknote building, I think, right?
Yeah, it's right around the corner from the bank, right around the corner. So
yeah.
What happened is it was closed down. They basically said that there was too many horrible things that was going on in Spofford, and they came in and closed it down, tore the whole thing down, and put up affordable housing and spaces for small business. And fortunately, we got one of the spaces. So I'll be signing the lease in about a week.
Beautiful, man.
And it's for me, it was important from a global standpoint. And what I mean by that is, as you know, being from the Bronx, you know that we kind of get a bad rap. So many times when I'm out there on the road, I'm doing shows, I do interviews, they'll ask me about the Bronx, and people will say, do you still live in the Bronx? And I go, yeah, I do. And it's like, oh, it's so bad in the Bronx. I'm like, well, you might say that, but we do have the Bronx Bombers here, and we have the biggest botanical garden in I think the United States. So there's a lot of pluses around here. We got great things, and I always talk about that. So coming into this space, knowing what it came from, to be able to talk about where it's gone to, and that it's been revitalized in our space. Not only are we going to be baking cookies and have a cafe to be able to sell, and we're going to do internet and local, we're putting a culinary school in the space as well.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
And in that banknote building, if you just want to check it out, they have a culinary arts thing in a big kitchen up there. So check that out later on. But but thank you for hanging out with us. They're going to wrap me up, and I want to talk to you more because you have a whole lot to talk about musically and in the baking industry. But I know you brought those two things together. We wish you all the luck in the world. Congratulations, and make sure you keep a private space in the Bronx where you can still have that private kitchen where you can cook for some local people.
I'm just Bronx. That's where I'm from, man. I'm from,
Hey, Ralph Rolle, what's that Soul Snacks website where people can go to get more information?
Well, you go to soulsnacks.com, and you can order cookies there, and you can find out all of the stores that will be listed in Walmart, and then Kroger coming soon.
There you go.
So, yeah, man.
There you go. Ralph Rolle, master percussionist and entrepreneur. And he does this thing with Soul Snacks. Make sure you pick up and eat up all his cookies. All right, we'll take a break right here. We'll come back, and we've got a whole lot more open coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Got a whole lot going on. I'm with these brothers right here with the United Coalition for Humanities and the Hip Hop Alliance. And we've gotten together with SAG-AFTRA. We're doing some wonderful things. So please welcome to the show, Kurtis Blow, Grandmaster D, and Bishop Cathaye Jones. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
That's how you do it.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Now, we're doing some great things and helping others get what they need out of life. And we talk about it so often. We're being interviewed all over the place, but I'm going to be the interviewer. So Kurtis, start us out. How did we get into what we are into right now as far as moving people in this direction to find out about healthcare and find out about pensions and finding out about extra money that they may have in other areas, and to get them to join what we are a part of?
Well, Dr. Bob, it all started when I personally had health problems about 4 years ago. I had 4 heart operations, and man, those surgeries were life-threatening. And man, I was diagnosed as having heart failure. And so I went on, I was still touring and trying to deal with this illness. And my doctors came to me after a while of all of these surgeries, and they said to me, look, this is not going well with your heart. You have about 6 months to a year to live. Wow. And I was like, oh my God. And so I tried to change all my eating habits. I stopped eating meat and all the things that they told me to do health-wise to try to eradicate that health problem, right? And so they finally came to me and said, look, it's not getting any better, so you need to get a heart transplant. And I was like, oh my God. So I prayed about it, and my family and we all prayed about it. And I decided to go in and get it done. And so after that, the miracle of the transplant gave me a second chance at life and a whole new outlook on life. And I just wanted to spread that same love to all of my community, my friends, all of hip hop, because people were just dying every day, you know, with the pandemic and also the violence set against our communities. And so I was like, wow, we need to do something about this and make a way that people can survive, and not just survive, but thrive as well. And so we formed the organization, a United Coalition for Humanity, and we went on to try to help people live their lives more abundantly. And then our biggest program is the Hip Hop Alliance, under the umbrella of the United Coalition for Humanity. And that's when I met Dr. Bob Lee. Well, we have been friends for over 40 years. And
I introduced you at Bonds International Casino years ago.
Yeah.
Way before I met Magic and that whole crew.
So I was talking to Dr. Bob Lee and telling him about my plight and everything, and how we wanted to start this union to try to help save lives and do the whole physical health and mental health benefits for all of our artists out there. And he said, well, I know SAG-AFTRA, and I could put you in touch with them. I'm a SAG-AFTRA member. Yeah. So he introduced us to SAG-AFTRA, and we had discussions about, you know, joining forces to help people like SAG-AFTRA did for me, because the only reason I am here is because of, well, first and foremost, God, and then all of my doctors over at UCLA Medical, I thank them, and SAG-AFTRA with that health insurance that actually paid for those 4 operations and that transplant. And so this is why we are here, because we are trying to.
Grandmaster D is here. He has some situations in the group that he's with, Houdini, and well, Ecstasy's no longer here, but Jalil's having situations where he can use some of these things that will work. So
benefits.
You may that. Yeah.
Yes, he's in need of 2 knee replacements.
Yeah.
Yes.
People like that, you know, you look around, people are dying of heart attacks, they have problems. So we want to try to educate our community. And Bishop, I know we've spent hours and hours and hours on Zooms and doing things like this, trying to get this organization together so that we can bring forth the good news. Tell us about it, and tell us the part that you play.
Absolutely. I played the part of keeping pertaining to policies with the organization, making sure that in the with the partnerships with SAG and AFTRA, to make sure that everything is coinciding with our policies as well. And so everything was okay with the relentless meetings with SAG and AFTRA and Kurtis, and they was all saying that they want this to happen, they want to make it happen. But of course, you know, we had a lot of board meetings to get approvals and that kind of sort of thing. But, you know, with the grace of God, everything came together.
And we got a lot of people on the board, right?
Absolutely.
D and the crew.
And it's a blessing, man, and it's a blessing from God, and it's a blessing for all of us. And this is well needed right now because a lot of people are falling down on hard times, and nobody knows this, and a lot of artists don't want to share it, you know. But we leave it in God's hand. But it's a blessing that Kurtis here, like I said years ago to Kurt, that God has you here. And that purpose is to do God's work. And that's what you've been doing, Kurt, from day one. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of this and to bring more people in. It means a lot, and it's very important.
Yeah. To educate artists about their agreements with labels, producers, agents, managers. And that's the first step in empowering artists to protect their livelihoods and futures. And that's so very, very important. That's one of the things that we're aiming at.
Yes. And we want to thank SAG-AFTRA for giving us the opportunity. You know, we have joined forces to fight for fair wages. We want to promote fair royalties and the resources to help with collective bargaining agreements, and also pension benefits and physical and mental health benefits that are so very important. And we do it, like you say, Dr. Bob, through education, is teaching. Each one teach one is our motto. And we just want to be mentors and friends and supporters of the young people that are out there, as well as our legends, so that they can learn how to not just survive, but to thrive. And that's our motto. You know, each one teach one, and we do it through education and empowering our members and our communities and our people with the information that they need to, be successful.
Yeah. Bishop, how can people join the hip hop, and who's eligible to join the Hip Hop Alliance?
All artists are eligible to join the organization. There's a vetting process as you join by going to hiphopalliance.org. And as you go in there, just read our mission and just scroll down to hit join. Just select what category you fall under, whether if you're a producer, engineer, podcaster, whether you're a rap artist, it doesn't matter. Within those categories, check 2 or 3 or 4. From that point, there is a clause in there that, of course, that we have a third party, which is our SAG-AFTRA, that we will, if they have no problem with us sharing their information with our third partner. It's just a simple yes or no, clicking that for sharing their information. So we that's the process to step on gas. And so the key thing, Dr. Bob, is the educational process. Everybody is coming on, giving them the knowledge, and with the Hip Hop Alliance, what we do is set them up, first of all, in the educational process. From the vetting process, and then from that point, we put them in the right category. So, from a business perspective, I just want to make sure that the operational piece of this go, just like a machine, and that it just go fluently. And of course, by anything new, we're going to have some flaws, but we just thank God that we have a great advisory team, and of course the board and the artists that have come together collectively to put all this data together to make sure it goes smoothly with a smooth transition. So far, so good. And of course, there will be some things that we may have to change, Dr. Bob, but it's that simple. Enjoy the organization.
Are we getting involved in any seminars or concerts or anything coming up?
Yes, we have a few events coming up. We are supporting the South by Southwest next month in March. And we also have a big Juneteenth celebration coming up June 19th in New York at the Nassau Coliseum. And that's going to be huge. The first Juneteenth celebration in New York City. So that's amazing. And I can't wait to be a part of it.
So who's some of the people that are down with us, Kurt?
Yes, we have the amazing Chuck D from Public Enemy. He is our president for the Hip Hop Alliance, and our chairman is Doug E. Fresh. Yeah. And we also have people like Grandmaster Melly Mel and Grandmaster Kaz and Master P and the Force MDs and Khalil and Stevie D. So many artists are coming on board to join. We have CeeLo from the Goody Mob supports us as well. So we're making ways. And I just want to say, you know, the Hip Hop Alliance is a miracle. It is a blessing. Yeah. So all of our people out there, artists, if you have any kind of problems with your manager, your lawyers, your record company, your agents, we are there to help you. We have a whole plethora of information that we can share with you, like from publishing to writing songs to recording in the studio to monitoring your radio and record sales, you know, getting into streaming and sampling and all of that. Anything that you need concerning your career and your talent, we can help you with the Hip Hop Alliance. So that's hiphopalliance.org, everyone. Please join us today.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. Bishop Cathaye Jones, thank you so much. Kurtis Blow, thank you. Grandmaster D, we love you guys, man. And we'll get together, keeping it together, moving together in the same direction for a common cause. That's what it's all about. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up next, we've got more on Open next. Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is a real estate advisor, and she's here with us today to speak about COVID's impact on home owners and the real estate market. Plus, she'll provide promising solutions for loan modifications and for foreclosure prevention. So please welcome to the show, Gail Allen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Good to be here. I am quite well. And thank you for having me again, Dr. Bob Lee. It's a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to see you too. All right, so here we go. We know we spoke the last time about foreclosures and all the things that people can do to get ready for it. And now here we are again. Tell us what you do, a little bit about what you do and what we can do to get involved in what you do.
Well, I'm actually a realtor. Okay, I have been for quite some time now. I'm also a mortgage officer, loan officer, licensed by the state of New Jersey, and I also do hard money and commercial lending. What I have now is a podcast that we do. It's called Real Talk Real Estate Matters. And why I decided to do this podcast because I wanted to reach out to those who think that real estate is an enigma. It's a mystery. It's a gray area. They like to get into it. They don't know how. They've been told it's very difficult. It can be very, expensive to kind of try and get your feet wet. And that isn't true. All you need to have is the desire to learn. And there you go. Once you have that desire and you start going to these meetups and you meet with other people like yourself who have an interest in real estate investing, or perhaps you like to just simply buy property for yourself, just a whole. You learn more and you share information and you take courses and seminars and you speak to people like me. And I like to see real estate become more of a common language, a topic that young people are talking about, old people are talking about. Why? Because real estate, as you know, creates generational wealth. And that is what's needed by so many groups of people, Black and brown people, people who are just coming into this country, immigrants. Real estate can be that pedal that you use to escalate yourself into what we would like to think as being still to this day a middle class. And what is middle class?
Yeah, and what creates that desire is the feeling of wanting to own your own home. So when you take that first step of thinking about what you want to do to move in that direction, that's where everything else follows. And that's where you come in.
That's where I come in. And I speak with people about, because no one really knows what to do. It's almost quite equivalent to like becoming a parent. There's no book or no one tells you how to raise your child from year to year to year. You do the best you can.
What should people do, Gail, if they want to start out from the beginning? What's the very first step? Because people are frightened because they don't know what's around the corner. What should they do?
Well, you got to sit down with your partner, and I believe involving the children with all of this, and say, we would like to purchase our home, our first home. And the first thing you want to do is look at the amount of money that you're bringing in. Well, if you're bringing in, $100,000 or $150,000 a year, and you've got maybe $2,500 or $3,500 worth of credit card payments every month, then the first thing you need to do is create what? A budget. You get a budget, okay? And you start paying off your debt. Once you get your debt down, then you figure out at least 30% of your income should be used or set aside for your mortgage payments. And understand this, not only will you pay a mortgage, when you go out and you're speaking with a realtor and he or she shows you a beautiful home for $400,000 or $500,000, and you say, I would like to buy it. Not only are you looking at the purchase price, but you're setting aside money each month for taxes, insurance, better known as escrows. And if you live in a plant unit development, you may find yourself paying each month some type of association fees for the pool, for the tennis courts. So all of that has to be included in your budget. Once you speak with a realtor, you're able to say, hey, you know what? We are making $7,000, $8,000 a month, and this is what we feel that we can afford. Because if you listen to a realtor, and I'm one, if you listen to a realtor and you say, well, we would like to spend no more than $550, a realtor may show you something for $675.
Especially during these times. Now, with the war in Europe, does this affect anything?
I believe people are going to be afraid right about now. People are wondering what should they do with their finances, what should they do with their assets, and people are buying property. As a matter of fact, first-time home buyers are competing against corporations because now corporations are purchasing single-family homes because they realize that they're valuable assets. Your average median house last year was $400,000. It has now appreciated within 12 months by 18 to 20%. That's almost like $100,000 a year.
Wow.
So what people should do is, again, look at the budget. If you're in foreclosure, speak to an attorney and speak with your bank. Try to get yourself into a forbearance, even though the forbearance programs from the Biden-Harris administration did sunset at the beginning of this year. Most lenders still have modifications and workout programs available. We talk about these programs right here on Real Talk Real Estate Matters every week, Monday at 7 o'clock.
Well, we got to check that out.
Yes.
One last thing before we go. Now, tell us a little bit about the reverse mortgages. What's that all about?
The reverse mortgage has a wonderful feature, and that is, even if you're in foreclosure, you've got to be age 62 and over. So you've got some type of equity in your property. You're retired. Maybe you don't want to go back to work and you would still like to get your hands on some money. Maybe you'd like to open up a business, or perhaps you're sending your grandchild to college. A reverse mortgage is just that. A forward mortgage, you pay the bank each month $2,000, $2,500. A reverse mortgage, the bank pays you each month $2,500, $3,500, or you can take a lump sum because you're getting that money from the equity that you have in your property. The property must be owner occupied. Again, you must be age 62 and over. They really don't look at credit as a real heavy criteria, but and you must be able to at least afford the taxes and the upkeep on the property. And that's it. It's a wonderful way also, Bob, to save your home from foreclosure. And we talk about this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So all of that, you have it on your website, of course.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, you can go to facebook.com/Gail for Real Talk. And that's Gail for Real Talk. You can also find me on YouTube, Real Talk Real Estate Matters with Gail Allen. And you'll see, and of course, you can find us here. You can see us on Vimeo. If you go to gsradionewjersey.com, just click on KOM TV and just look up Real Talk Real Estate Matters, and you'll see all of our episodes. And every episode covers a real interesting issue that people can use in their lives about real estate and real estate financing.
Gail, that's real talk.
That's real talk.
Yes. Gail, thank you so much. There she is, Gail Allen, real estate advisor. And, we've learned so much with you over the years, and we're going to keep in touch with you so we can let our audience know what's going on and let them know about the real talk.
Real talk from the heart, the truth, what matters.
Yes.
Thank
Gail,
you,
thank
Dr.
you so much. All right. Thank you. All right. We'll take a break right here. Bobby C is up next. He's got everything, what's happening in the world of sports and more. Next.
Last time on the show, we got a chance to sit down with Hoops in the Sun co-CEO Randy Cruz to talk about a brand new winter league for basketball here in the BX. Here's part 2 of that interview. So great to see, you look at someone like Chris Bowman, who starred at Lehman College, of course, has been a longtime friend, was a teammate of your brother's at Lehman. And he's another guy that used to play for many years. And now that we're getting older, he comes back and you see him coaching at the Summit. So kind of passing that baton to the younger generation.
And I think that's the beauty of it. If you're going to create something, you have your friends involved, people you went to college with, and plus you get the right people. So when it came to doing sand workouts, my brother and I made that one call to Chris. Hey man, this is what you do. We can create it, but I know you can facilitate it. So he has a ball every time, and the kids are really just getting that real summertime workout. And it goes back to many players saying they love playing at the beach outdoors. They get that 94-50 in the heat, that real 48-minute grind. And sometimes these kids and these grown men just want to have like a little NBA training camp to go with that, prior to the summertime. And it's been great. The parents are heavily involved for the yoga, for the boxing. We have trainers coming from California to facilitate those boxing training programs, and it just ballooned from like maybe 10 kids one day to like 100 in like a month. And it was just a beautiful thing to see, getting the community involved at a crazy time for everybody. We're embarking on year 3 of the summit, so I know it'll be back at some point, maybe in April or May, which I can't wait to have happen. So like I said, it's really been a great part of a great additional part to our program.
No, so exciting. I mean, when you think about it, like you mentioned before, now you have the regular season, June, July, August. You have the summit that will also be going on in the summertime. You have the spring league, which has been in place now for some time. And now you add the winter league, which is going to take us through the month of April. So, you and your brother very, very close to having almost, a full year's worth of basketball for the Bronx.
We're going to be busy all year round, Bob. All year round. But
on the program, man. It's so hard to track you down these days.
But again, these kids need outlets, they need programming. I think that was important because when the pandemic hit, there was no summer camps, there was no summer youth program, there was no gyms open, there was nothing. So it was like, we gotta do something, and that's how the summer was created, and they enjoy it every single time. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Randy, I think another, kind of layer to this, another aspect that makes it even so great for the Bronx and for Hoops in the Sun is that so many of the sponsors that are involved in making all of this happen are Bronx sponsors. So tell us a little bit about those that are involved that are making this a reality for the kids here in the community.
With the sponsors, it's never easy trying to retain the same sponsors for let alone 1 or 2, even 3 years. We know how the game works, and we know things trickle every single summer. So, when you have Macy's and the Yankees and Mountain Dew, and whatever apparel company is with us every single year, we do really appreciate that. It's not easy to put on a tournament. We understand that, there is a love for the game, but also there's a financial component behind that. There is no tournament without that happening. There's no tournament without players being involved, with the parks giving us the permit. So it's a lot of things that need to take place before you jump ball and give out uniforms. So it's never an easy process, but I know my brother and I and our staff go, we prepare for the following season while we're in mid-season. So when it's mid-July All-Star break, we're already thinking about next year, how we can improve, how can we update ourselves or adapt. And we're in 2022, we always want to be ahead of the game, whether it's social media, digital, how the court looks, the aesthetics. So, and the sponsors go a long way. So whether it's apparel, drink, we definitely appreciate, Gatorade has always been down since day one, so don't want to forget about them. But again, without them, there is no tournament. So we definitely appreciate their support every single time.
And I think the social media really has helped the league enormously, because you talk about, whether it's Instagram or, when the league started, social media wasn't even a thing. And now it's such a big part of what you guys do. And to be able to even stream the game, some rumblings that maybe, just maybe, coming up from the boss here at BronxNet, that we might look into bringing the games back on BronxNet, which I think that would be exciting too.
Yeah, so we tinkered with live streaming for week 1. It was okay. Again, that's part of the kinks that we got to work out, but I think it's something that you want to add additional to the program. If someone can't make it to the game, whether it's the indoor tournament or the outdoor tournament, they can watch it on their phone, go to our YouTube channel, and you just want to provide that access to people that, I feel like I'm not there, but me watching, I feel like I'm there. So that's a different component that we want to add for 2022 and beyond. Have quite a few number of people viewing, which is great. Our subscribers are going up, so we definitely want to hit home with our YouTube channel and exploring new things with that. And if BronxNet is going to get involved, we definitely love that. So they started out with us in 2001, 02, and we never forgot about that. So if that's what it is, come on board. We can't wait for that.
I think there's a lot of, layers to this too, in terms of the other Bronx connections. I know you wanted to speak about some of those. What are some of the other connections here that are going on with the borough?
The Parks Department in the Bronx has been very key and vital to helping this tournament proceed the way it has been for 22 years. Great people over there in the Bronx. We've had a former Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz, always come by, show some love and support. And I think, circling back to the pandemic, is like, this is where we get an opportunity to really do things that we were not doing as much, and working with the Bronx, with the communities, doing Thanksgiving food drives and coat drives and all that kind of stuff. So that's part of our all year round programming coming up, that we do want to change that. We do want to adapt to doing more stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's definitely a key for us going into next year.
So Randy, tell everybody where they can find Hoops in the Sun on social media, even if it's, your own social media, because you do such a great job of publicizing on your own channels too.
You can find Hoops in the Sun on Twitter at Hoops in the Sun. Also, the same name at on IG, Hoops in the Sun. Facebook.com/Hoops in the Sun. YouTube.com/Hoops in the Sun. I think that's pretty much it. You can follow me at Randy J. Cruz, Rendy, the letter JCRUZ. As Bob mentioned, we got the Winter League going on from February 12th to April 3rd. 10 o'clock till 5:30, Bronx Regional High School. Come out, check it out. It's free to enter. Music, games, concessions, all that. Have a good time. And I want to say we start the Summer League June 11th of 2022.
Around Father's Day, yeah.
Right around Father's Day. So, we'll be there every Saturday and Sunday. Also, the Winter League is every Saturday and Sunday only. So we're looking forward to it. We got a lot of programming ideas, a lot of different ideas coming for the summertime. Can't wait for that. I can't really talk about that, so that's a big surprise. So catch us. Follow us on social media. Get in tune with what we're doing, and we'll love to see you guys come out and show some love and support.
Well, Randy, definitely appreciate you coming on, and appreciate you guys bringing some warmth here in the summer. In the winter, some warmth here in the winter from the summertime, and always excited to have you here on the show. And definitely shout out to your brother, to your mom, and you guys have done a wonderful job of keeping your father's legacy alive here in the Bronx.
Thank you, B. We love you like a brother, man. You're part of the family. You've been around for 21 years. We've seen you grow, not only at the beach, but also at Lehman and Bronxnet and every other 9 jobs that you have. Wish you nothing but love and success in your endeavors going forward. But we do need to catch up soon. We got to have you come out to the Winter League, check it out, maybe do a game with Stacks like old times, and just kind of, warm up for the summertime. We might do a spring league. I'm not too sure. That was supposed to be a plan, but the fall league got pushed back into the Winter League. So that's how it goes. But looking forward to seeing you, man. Come out, show some love and support. The games are going to be dope. And I know we'll catch up soon.
Well, like the fans at home, head out to the Winter League, and I'll do the same, and we'll see you there.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and our last guest is a hip-hop artist who came up with Russell Simmons in New York City, and he has over 35 years of experience in the music industry, and hopes his latest album, Get Vaccinated, will inspire others to receive the COVID vaccine. So please welcome to the show, Lance Romance.
What's up, everybody?
Lance, how are you, man?
Fine,
how you
thank
feeling?
you. I'm good. Thank you very much. How you doing?
Good. You got a lot of history in the business. We were kicking it just before we came on, and you were going back a little bit, with the Fat Boys and all that stuff. Tell us about it.
Well, my first record deal was in the summer of '84 with Leland Robinson. Took me to his mom, Sylvia Robinson's. I got a record deal with Sugar Hill Records first in '84.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So my uncle knew Leland because he had lived in Inglewood, New Jersey.
There you go. That's where Sylvia is, up there.
Yep. And then my second record deal, my aunt was dating or seeing one of the guys from the Soul Sonic Force, Globe, Globe. And Globe took me to Tommy Silverman and Monica Lynch. So my second record deal was with Tommy Boy in '85.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't sign with either one of them. So then I did Crush Groove. And after I did Crush Groove,
of course, that's the movie.
Crush Groove, the movie. And Sal put me in contact with Russell, and I wound up being in a scene. And Charles Stetler met me, and then I wound up doing the dancing version at City College for the Fat Boys, Don't You Dog Me.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a couple of people, Sal Abatello from The Fever.
Yes.
And Charles Stetler.
Yes. And
he's the one who founded the Fat Boys.
Absolutely. And then Russell had told me that, Dr. Ice and Kango Kid, rest in peace, were going to do their own thing, and Houdini needed some dancers, and I should be one and find another one. And then we met on the Raising, we, conformed this on the Raising Hell tour with Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, and early on, an unknown group at the time called Public Enemy. I went and got a job as a doorman at Windows on the World at the World Trade Center.
Wow.
And me and Romeo, JD, from the Boogie Boys, Fly Girl, we were the doormen at Windows on the World.
Wow.
So then he left and said, look, I got a record deal. We got this record coming out called Fly Girl and it's taking off. I'm like, I want a deal too. And so we were doormen at Window on the World. But while I was at Window on the World, my father had me in acting school at HB Studios on 120 Bank Street because he thought I was going to be an actor because he knew Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier and all those guys and Harry Belafonte. And he thought, why don't you be an actor? And then early on, that's how I met Malcolm Jamal Warner, Blair Underwood, and I wound up auditioning for The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
I didn't get it because my friend that I took to the audition, Carl Payne, wound up getting the part of Cockroach.
They said, do not take anybody with you when you're going on your go-sees.
Carl got the part. And then I wind up, Uta Hagen, one of the greatest acting teachers in the world, told me, why don't you do something you love because you're a terrible actor.
Yeah.
And then I got into doing demos and music. And then, I decided to, get under Russell and he got me in with Houdini. And then after that, I just started making albums. Now I got 35 albums.
Woo!
I got the largest independent catalog in the music industry with 700 to 26, but 800 registered songs.
Yeah.
And 35 albums that you can physically go to iTunes or Spotify and see it. And I signed with EMI in 93. Me, Pharrell, Timberland, Jermaine Dupri, Dallas Austin.
Yeah.
Later Rodney Jerkin. And then Sony bought EMI in 93. And then my contract was fulfilled with Sony by 2016. I got to keep all of my masters. So I have 35 albums and 726 registered BMI songs, 100% mine.
That's great. And a lot of artists are looking to do that. So you're going to be a very educational figure in the movement that I'm going to tell you about later on. The Hip Hop Alliance, Alliance. Remember that?
Hip Hop Alliance.
Kurtis Blow, Chuck D, and the whole crew. And we're educating people because they have monies in different places. Like you probably have monies in different places that you should know about. Well, I'll tell you about it afterwards. Okay. But thank you for all that you've done and all that you've put out, and all that you've contributed to the hip hop genre and R&B genre too.
Yes. But, thank you.
So then COVID happened.
Absolutely.
And then you got into what?
So during the COVID time, first I made a Black Lives album and Black Lives Matter album. And then I realized that, at the time, the COVID started to become relevant to our community of people of, Black and brown. And I realized that, there had to be somebody that could discuss it outside of a conversation on news. And I thought, putting it in music would work. But it had to be done without it sounding like a album that was, telling you what to do. So Anthony.
Well, and what probably also motivated you, I don't know, check me if I'm wrong, that a lot of people of color were getting sick. Well, a lot of people in general were getting sick, but more so people with underlying conditions.
Yes.
Maybe dealing with the asthma, obesity, maybe other health problems, other health situations. A lot of people were dying.
Absolutely. We were
so
dying.
That probably helped you move into that area to help others.
Yeah, I was here. Absolutely. Sorry about that. Excuse me. I was living on 40th and 2nd Avenue, right near, the most traffic was happening there, coming down 2nd Avenue, not far from the United Nations building in that area. So hearing so many, the ambulance would pass and the police and the bodies were, this is like March.
You meant to say Bellevue Hospital on the other side there. That was it.
Yes, down from Belleville. Exactly what I meant to say. So yeah, I was motivated. Anthony said, let's do some research. There was a lot happening, a lot of changes from masks to gloves to vaccines. And I went to Rite Aid in this past summer and I got the first shot and got the second shot. And I realized that I had to discuss it. I remember Puff Daddy had a writer and a producer on his team, Mr. Mario Winans. And I decided to utilize myself and Mario Winans tracks, and I made a full Get Vaccinated album so it could sound very R&B-ish. So all the production is Mario Winans with myself, and then I wrote all the lyrics, and then Mario, you know, had the foundation laid, and I just flipped it and made it into an album called Get Vaccinated because I thought it was important to at least be out there in the market.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? How are we going to use it?
Well, I'm getting ready to go on tour May 10th, a worldwide tour. And we are partnered with the Marriott organization, Marriott Hotels. And we're going to be doing many venues. So I figured people wouldn't really know who Lance Romance, you know, the artist is. So I decided to take fashion on the road, being that I was involved with the Victoria's Secret runway models and Fashion Week. We're going to be, it's the first time in the history of the world, that fashion has traveled like it was like a circus. So I figured if I did it as a fashion show, people would come to see fashion, even if they didn't come to see me, but I would be the music, which would still talk about the songs related to being vaccinated on the DL. You know what I mean?
Where can we go to find out more about you? Because we can talk, we can go deep, we can go and talk for a long time, but you know, we got to come back and do it some more. So where can we go to find out more about what you're doing?
So I'm going to be posting on Instagram today the actual tour dates from May all the way through October. And then we're going to probably continue to do more international dates. So you can go to my Lance Romance hip hop music on Instagram, or just put in Lance Romance on Instagram. It'll normally pop up, and I'll have most of it posted. And there'll be a link also to a website where people can buy tickets, you know, to come to these events. And pretty much, you know, it'll be like a fashion show with different designers and celebrities and models. And then, you know, we'll discuss COVID, and you'll get, you know, every show there'll be a booklet or a pamphlet that basically gives you the information about, you know, staying vaccinated, more information of knowledge. Because I think a lot of the whole concept of these vaccines and boosters there's some theories and myths and gossip. I think knowledge is important.
Lance Romance Matthews, hip hop music and recording artist. Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get that pinch, or if you're in Britain, get that jab, right?
That jab, that pinch, yes. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And you know, I'm excited to hear more of the endeavors with the other businesses you have going on and the other joint things we should do as a hip hop community.
You got it. We'll talk about it. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it all. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. And I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. I love you all. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Peace.